Hi, I'm Zeddicus. Welcome to my shitty channel. Today, I'll be reporting a very important topic. It's about the highly controversial, highly debated, and highly bullshit of a game, Wild Rift. I was peacefully scrolling in my FB feed when I came across this awesome community of not-so-obvious toxic players talking about some intriguing Wild Rift news. Despite the hype for the mobile debut of Riot Games' masterpiece, majority of the 5 million plus beta testers of the game rated it with an outstanding 3.8 stars in the Play Store. This disappointing truth gives these die-hard ML lovers the false confidence to speak garbage towards our less shitty, beloved game. Now, to actually talk about the topic, here's the main reasons why League of Legends Wild Rift is garbage at the moment. Number 1. Matchmaking. If you played League PC, then this isn't a surprise to you. The matchmaking system in Summoner's Rift is as worse as it gets. However, it seems that the already prejudiced matchmaking algorithm in League PC is made worse in Wild Rift. Sure, League PC's matchmaking system is a mess, but have you ever played a solo rank match and get placed in a single team with players each in different tiers? Have you raised your hopes up because you had 5 consecutive wins in solo queue, only to be followed by an equal amount of loss? Statistically but not accurately speaking, about 75% of these complaints are due to this imbalance in matchmaking. But to accurately determine how shitty the current algorithm is, I played 10 games in my main account, which I now regret, because 300 plus matches worth of hardship was wasted for playing 10 straight solo queues, only for most to be defeats. Nevertheless, I present to you the results. Out of 10 solo rank matches, 3 of which were victorious and a devastating 7 of which were defeats. I'm sure most of you experienced the same thing, so here is my analysis. 5 out of 10 matches were imbalanced, meaning a matchup consisted with more than 2 different tiers. But more surprisingly, the gap between some of these cases are 2 tiers apart, making the probability of being placed in a bad matchup fairly high at 50%. Number 2. Server issues. Not only does it places you in a team of 4 idiotic mofos, in Wild Rift, you also get to play with monolingual narcissists, trash-talking you in 7 different languages, thinking that your dumbass would understand. So, as a toxic superior wannabe, you flame at them as well, believing that they'd understand what the hell you are talking about. Don't get me wrong, there are many non-English players that are really good. In fact, majority of the current challengers are those who you call Ching Chong, and is 100 times better than you. Nevertheless, communication plays a very important role in the game. Using the same results from my 10-match research, data suggests that 9 out of 10 games has a non-English player in it. So teaming up with non-English players are almost inevitable at 90%. And this is where the unnecessary hate comes from, miscommunication, that leads to a chain of game-tilting circumstances. Remember though, the game is 5v5, so no matter how good of a player you are, or no matter how fed your champ is, you will still be defeated if you have no coordination and synergy with your teammates, or you just flat out suck. Number 3. Missing features. The game's features play a very important role to the overall mechanics of the game. Features such as role preference and match remake system are nothing less but important. Have you ever played a match in League PC, where the assigned top lane decides to go mid because he wants to pick Yasuo, which in turn affects the entire team, forcing everyone to shift roles, inevitably giving you a bad but still balanced lineup? Unfortunately, there is no role selection system in Wild Rift, and with the perfect combination of the shitty algorithm, you get an all-ADC team ready to feed the hell out of the enemy. Our data indicates that the odds of teaming up with a stupid 12-year-old who doesn't know how to adjust are relatively low at 20%, being 2 out of 10. Relatively, have you played a game with a strong lineup, only for an uncultured brat or two decides to go AFK within just 2 minutes through the game? Well, I have, but luckily, I'm a professional player, and of course, as a professional, I did the thing that only a professional would do, and that's to call for a remake. I chatted remake for like 3 times, but these dipshits doesn't seem to understand. So I took the effort to check the settings only to find out that there's no remake system in this shitty game, giving us no choice but to play in misery, as the bots took over the leaving idiots, giving the enemy a definite win. In the end, I helplessly reported these assholes, as I whined for the end of my solo Q8 win streak, hoping that they would get banned for 6 eternities, and hope that Rito add these missing features to the game. It is shown that in every 10 game in solo queue, there's a 20% chance that you'll encounter some shit quitters who doesn't give a fuck about the game. Number 4. Bugs and other imbalances. These are totally normal, and are expected, especially in a game's beta test phase. In fact, there are even fully developed and long-running garbage games that has way more bugs in comparison. But this is Rito games we are talking about, so our expectations were naturally high. Seeing broken shit like a friendly enemy turret, or an overpowered 1v9ing ADC is injustice for us who expected much from Rito Boy. This might as well added fuel to the already raging community. Since this subject is self-explanatory, I wouldn't be wasting my time talking about some non-existent issues, just for the sake of the video's duration. But wait, it is worth pointing out that despite the game being on its beta phase, the bugs are kept minimal, at least in my experience. Lastly, I want to talk about something you would call fake news. Rumor has it that the reason why Wild Rift has an utterly disgusting rating on the Play Store is because of some die-hard ML players. It is said that they installed the game for the sole purpose of giving it a 1 star, then complaining that it is garbage. I did take the effort to check whether this is a fact or not, but as far as I'm concerned, there were only a few of these retarded 12-year-olds who had nothing better to do than to rate 1 star to a game that they've never actually played, calling it garbage, just for the sake of being perceived as a superior for their community. Those rating alone would not be enough to make that 3.8 rating, thus, we could definitely conclude that the majority of these negative feedbacks were from genuine players who are pathetically sounding their rants, to the extent that they would complain about their 10 straight lose streak, blaming the developers for their absolute stupidity. But hold your asses, I'm not done yet. There are only a handful of people in the community that acknowledges that the game is still on its beta phase. So as a superior, aka professional, / a definitely not toxic player, I would like to remind us all that the devs are doing their best to provide us the best sleep experience. The world's currently on a pandemic, so if we're having a hard time then they're no different. Let's just be thankful that they're trying their best in saving us from the agonizing experience of playing on a try-hard ripoff. Thanks for wasting your time over my low-quality shitty content. Once again, the game is just on its beta, so y'all can chill, and you don't have to take it too seriously. If you have nothing better to do than flaming on your Chinese teammates, or blaming the devs for your incompetence, why not watch more of my shitty content, so your remaining brain cells can get more of your already excessive stupidity. If you want to sympathize with my broken stupid ass, then subscribe to the channel for more cringy content. Keep calm, and keep safe. Zeddicus Zoldyck, signing out.